This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For multiple decades, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. It is Ray Skywalker early Sunday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after we've reviewed the 7 Enlightenment Factors. The first Enlightenment Factor is mindfulness. Our sympathetic, let's try this again. Yes, our sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. The second Enlightenment Factor is investigation. That same sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to watch vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, to watch all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the convenient to the arduous, from the glorious to the grotesque. Good morning, Jason. Now, this is an editing opportunity, so I'll have to come back to that later. Let's continue. The fourth Enlightenment Factor is joy. The more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more we gently stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, the key to joyful love. The third Enlightenment Factor is energy. The more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more our choices, utterances, and deeds flow, not from contrived calculation nor wild scatchiness, but rather from love's deeply centered spontaneity. The sixth Enlightenment Factor is coalescence. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, which functions as the core of our sympathetic nervous system. It is evolved to help us to notice all mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Let's put it another way. As our breath coalesces in our lungs, our perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination coalesces in our mind. Or I should say the central nervous system. The fifth enlightenment factor is tranquility. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access both the tippy top and the very bottom of that same spinal cord. These two regions, functioning as a team, cause us to physically relax and mentally release during each exhalation to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and as non-graspable as a vast empty void. When I was a little boy, when I was in 4th grade, I had the good fortune to learn that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand? So we see that both no self and emptiness are just figures of speech to describe the fleeting experience of tranquility latent within each exhalation. The 7th enlightenment factor is equanimity. Literal. Think of it this way. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever beautiness or ugliness we saw during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sights. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever harmony or discord we heard during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sound. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just feeling. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever deliciousness or disgust we tasted during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just flavor. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever fragrance or foulness we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just scent. Now let's take this into a deeper level of remedial equanimity. What is the antidote to dread? Sitting and breathing and watching and resting. Well, then what is the antidote to desire? Sitting and breathing and watching and resting. Then what is the antidote to delusion? Sitting and breathing and watching and resting. There is one universal antidote to all that befalls us. Now, you could say, does that mean we do nothing about what goes on in our lives and in our neighbors' lives? No, remember, the fringe benefit of meditation and mindfulness is that our choices and utterances and deeds flow from love's deeply centered spontaneity. So not only does watching and resting help us to cope with whatever comes up internally, but it helps us to respond skillfully to whatever comes up externally. Thank you, Kenna. Thank you for the love. In preparation for mindfulness and meditation of clarity and letting go, let us gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at the crown of our head. Doing so is as easy as using our left index finger, the tip of our left index finger, to support the first knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. As we passively notice air enter our nostrils, let's go back for a moment. It's a great mistake to actively focus upon our breathing, our breath, our nostrils, and the like. Doing so will exhaust the medial prefrontal cortex and trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. Better it is that we treat our nostrils and our breath the way a piano student treats their metronome. A piano student doesn't actively focus on their metronome. They're too busy focusing on their sheet music and the keyboard. How does a piano student regard the sound of their metronome? They hold it in passive peripheral awareness. Similarly, as we passively notice air enter our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, watch. And as we passively notice air exit our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, rest. How are we going to time our first minute? Simple. Every time we silently and mentally recite the verb watch during our inhalation, we advance our right thumb across the sets of creases found on the inside of each finger. Let's do this together right now. What are we going to do if we wish to meditate for an additional 12 minutes? Simple. On our left hand, we count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. The moment you have a specific question about the philosophies and techniques that support meditation, do not hesitate. Type your question in great detail in the chat window. For I tend to check for questions about once every 13 minutes or so. If you'd like to count an additional 13 sets of 12 inhalations each, then all you got to do is slide the tip of your left index finger up to the right index finger's second knuckle. In preparation for mindfulness and meditation of bliss and letting go, we could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energy to coalesce in our chest. Whoopsie. Doing so is as easy as using the tip of our left middle finger to support the first knuckle of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. And once again, we don't want to make the mistake of actively focusing on our breath or our chest. Instead, like a piano student who merely regards the sound of the metronome with passive peripheral awareness, as we passively notice our chest swelling with breath, we can silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, feel. And as we passively notice our chest subtly sink as we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, rest. Having sat for the better part of an hour, we might find it refreshing to do some spiritual squat thrusts. In our compassion, may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of dread, desire, and delusion, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism, may our liberation of all others be fueled by our mastery of the three wish-fulfilling jewels of following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with the students. The 8-syllable synopsis of that which I just read to you is as follows. May we free all through the three jewels. If you'd like to follow along with me, that's great. I'll take a moment to swing the camera around and set everything up. Okay, let's see. Make sure everything's in frame. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk practice of Meditate Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.